Okay, hello there. We're here with Jon Collins, CEO of the Restorative Justice Council of the UK, and we're here at the launch event of the Community of Restorative Researchers. You've already participated in one of the panels, and I'd like to ask you a couple of questions that relate somewhat back to what you replied in the room. One of them is, what are your views on the quality mark that has been introduced by the Restorative Justice Council? What do you think it contributes to the whole sector?
So the Restorative Service Quality Mark has been developed by the Restorative Justice Council, working with our members to enable organisations to demonstrate they're delivering restorative justice to the restorative service standards, which were developed to ensure that where a service has been delivered, it's been delivered to a high standard. So it's there for a number of reasons. It's there to enable commissioners, so people who want to commission a restorative justice service, to be able to be confident that if they commission an organisation that has the Restorative Service Quality Mark, that the service they will get will be of a high standard and will deliver positive outcomes for the individuals who use that service. Also, it gives other people in the field, partners and people working with that service, as well as service users, victims and offenders who may access that service, confident they'll get a good service and that what will be done in terms of restorative justice will be of a high standard. And finally, I think that going through the Restorative Service Quality Mark process enables organisations to take a look at what they do and the service that they deliver, and look at every part of the service and ensure that it's all been done as well as it possibly can be. And those services who achieve the Restorative Service Quality Mark, rightly, I think, feel proud of what they've done and feel proud to be able to demonstrate to people outside the service that what they're doing is of a high standard.
In terms of training, would the quality mark allow practitioners individually as well to identify those gaps in their skill set or the training needs?
The Restorative Service Quality Mark is a quality mark for a whole service, but obviously it also looks at the practitioners who make up that service. So we'll identify if there are skills or areas in which they might need to improve and enable them to think about how they can do that.
Okay, very good. There was a bit of a debate around the more philosophical side to restorative justice, RJ being good in itself, and then you also talk about some practical issues which we have to necessarily focus on sometimes. Can you tell us a bit about those practical issues that you face at the RJC?
Well, I think that going around and talking to our members, organisations and individuals who are delivering restorative justice on a day-to-day basis, there are clearly some practical challenges that they face in enabling them to do that on a regular basis. So we're talking about, obviously, funding is an important part of it. Services need to be able to access resources to enable them to do their job. But there's also practical difficulties like getting access to information, so information sharing, quick, timely access to the information they need to enable them to contact victims and offenders and put together a restorative justice process can be a real challenge, as can working reliably with partners in areas, being able to build up strong working partnerships locally that enable them to work with the people who most need to be able to access restorative justice. So a number of practical challenges. There's also broader challenges around making sure that the public understand what restorative justice is and what the benefits can be, ensuring that there's broader awareness and understanding of what the benefits of restorative justice are.
And that links to something you mentioned before, is the fact that we need to also find a way to justify, because at some point funding streams are going to stop there, and then we're going to be asked what has been achieved with the money that has been put into it. And at the moment we're focusing on victim satisfaction and reoffender rates, but they might be looking for something else, and we're not getting that sort of measures in at the moment.
I think it's inevitable. There's new funding that's been given by the Ministry of Justice to police and crime commissioners to enable restorative justice to take place. It's inevitable when that funding comes to an end, people will want to know what's been achieved, what that money's been spent on, and what the positive outcomes have been. So I think it's very important that where people are running restorative services around the country, they're measuring what they're doing and they're putting in place something that enables them at the end of the period to talk about what the successes have been. And that'll partly be about the number of cases they've worked on and what the benefits of that has been. It'll be things like reductions in reoffending, so crime that hasn't taken place because restorative justice has happened. It'll be about the impact it has on victim satisfaction and victim well-being. We know that restorative justice helps victims to turn their lives around and put crime behind them. We need to find a way to measure that. We also need to think about the impact on the broader community in terms of the overall benefits that it'll have and the benefits for other criminal justice agencies. So one of the things we've talked about is that where a restorative justice process has been used and where it's been successful, you may see fewer calls to service to the local police, for example. At a time when police resources are very stretched, that's an incredibly important benefit and one that we need to make sure we're capturing.
That's something that Becky Baird mentioned from Gloucester, right?
I think someone from the audience did mention, yes, that the idea that we need to capture all those benefits to other criminal justice agencies locally so that they understand what they're getting out of the time and money that they're putting into restorative justice.
Okay, and finally, there was one question about where do you see RJ as a profession going? Because I have heard some people mention that accountants as a profession have gone a very far way. Obviously, they've been around for longer than we have been as a profession. But do you see RJ going in that sort of direction where it becomes very regulated and it has very strict structures and continuous professional development, or do you see it evolving as a more branched out discipline with different kinds of training and different kinds of practitioners?
I don't think it's an either or there. I think that yes, it's important that the field professionalises. It's important that people who want to, as part of their career, be involved in delivering restorative justice are able to get the support and the training to enable them to do that. It's important that the field has standards in place and mechanisms in place to enable people to meet those standards so we can make sure that wherever restorative justice is being done, it's being done to a high standard. That's incredibly important, but that shouldn't be a barrier to innovation or change. The field is diverse, it's developing very quickly. We need to have the standards in place that make sure that where it's been done well, but aren't a barrier or don't hinder innovation so that we can make sure the field continues to develop and grow at the same time. So I don't think it's an either or. I think professionalisation is important, but I also think innovation and growth is very important.
The sort of compromise is the word. Find the best solution.
I'm not sure it is a compromise. I think you can have clear, robust standards in place. You can have professionalisation, but within that you can also allow innovation to take place, and that's what we're aiming to do with our standards.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, Jon. Thank you for your time here with Restorative Forum.
Thank you.